Hey there, once again, people. I'm not sure who would see this. I only had a few views on my last video. This is me, Dennis, also known as Send Rebrots. This is my pup, Sitgo. This is my friend. Um, just trying to make a video on the commentary of normal life, I guess. Yes, I was a homeless person. I wasn't always. I don't know, worked a job, had a family. I've got kids that I miss. I wish I was with them, but that's a different story. Uh, Trying hard to get back to a place where I can be with them, but for right now, it's just me and my pup. Um, I don't understand what's going on in the world right now. I have a lot of favorite YouTube creators who have been hassled and knocked down by the YouTube algorithms or whatever, shadow banned. Not really sure what's going on with all that stuff. I'm not 100% tech savvy. I don't have a laptop right now. Pretty much everything I do is off of my phone. And that's about it as far as that goes. It's crazy that people can make money off of YouTube or anything really, I guess, with ads and monetization, but it's good for them. Like I said in my last video, I think it's funny watching people try to survive in the woods. I have done it. I've had friends that have done it. Being homeless is not easy, nor anything that anyone should strive to be. I never did. I always worked as hard as I could. Tried to, you know, take care of my family. Unfortunately, not playing the victim, just saying, you know, choices have been made by my, what do you call it, significant others. Um, that kind of led me to where I was. Also, my decisions, which I take full credit for my part, but also, crazy is crazy. And, uh, I don't want to blame anybody for anything, but crazy is crazy. No doubt I have some mental issues that I need to deal with, but also chosen mates or partners, I guess. I mean, female. I'm not gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't care one way or the other who loves who. I love everybody. I think everybody should love everybody. I think if you love someone, it's okay. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's not kids, because there are some pervs, pedos. I'm not sure what the correct terms are that you're allowed to use on YouTube without getting in trouble. But there's some sick people that like to do some sick things. So that's wrong, and there's nothing most of us can do anything about. But it's out there. There are some sick people that do a lot of sick things. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I've been watching a lot of this crazy stuff in the news, and just not. I don't know. Nevertheless, my situation is my situation. I was smart, or I like to. I never really thought of myself as like smart or like nothing like that. I'm not handsome. I don't think anything like that. I don't think anything special about myself. That's for sure. Me, my friend here, Sigo, who's my best friend, who kept me occupied and company in the woods. Yeah, this is my buddy. I've got some good friends, close friends that help me out and spent time with me, but I'm not by no means a good person. Like, I try to be good to everybody. I have a temper, which I've lost in the past. Who doesn't? You know what I mean? I try to be good to everybody. I'm a pretty common sense person, though, and it is one of my pet peeves that people that don't have common sense, which is severely lacking in this world. I mean, severely lacking. There's some stuff that should be common sense. It's just not even common knowledge. Like, people just aren't exposed to it, and a lot of it has to do with media and you know universities, colleges. That's a big problem, as far as I can tell. Uh, I was exposed to a lot of stuff as a kid. I was exposed to a lot of the world as a kid. A lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't have been exposed to. That I wouldn't wish upon any child, especially to be exposed to, but I was, and that's just life. I'm not blaming that for anything. I'm just saying I have a certain amount of knowledge about things that I maybe shouldn't have known about while I was 5, 6, 7 years old, but that's not a thing anymore. You know what I mean? It's just part of life. I wish I could figure out how, like, there are so many influencers and none of this stuff makes any sense to me. The people are people. You should be allowed to say whatever you want to be able to, like, whatever you want. It shouldn't matter. You think this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. You should be allowed to say that. And there should not be any person that's allowed to say, oh, you're not allowed to say that. You should have common decency. Like, you know what I mean? Don't attack people for their beliefs the same as, like, you don't want to be attacked as. It's just common decency. Don't attack people. If people want to be gay, straight, like, I don't know. This is the biggest thing I don't understand what's going on right now. Be gay. Be straight. Why does it make a difference? Why do so many people put so much value in that? And surprise, it's not it shouldn't be a thing. Common sense is lacking. Common decency is lacking. People should be allowed to say whatever they want. Hate speech, okay, yeah, don't attack people for no reason. It's people should be allowed to be themselves. People should be allowed to say what they want to say. That's what free speech means. What I really can't understand and can't condone is the censorship of that free speech. I was never political. I'm 38 years old. I voted for the first time this year for our president, Donald Trump. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, I don't like Trump, blah, blah, blah. But be sincere about it. Do the research. His policies did so much for our country. Yeah, he said some stuff that people won't agree with, or people, found to be disheartening, or people felt like they were. It doesn't matter. Look at the policies. He did more for the country than anybody else. Like, any politician that's in office right now, especially the ones that are trying to impeach, which is, like, you don't have to be a scholar, you don't have to be a genius. Just, like, look at the facts. Like, you can't impeach someone who's not in office. The people that should be impeached for inciting violence, obviously, are, people like Maxine Waters, uh, Nancy Pelosi, AOC, who plays the victim card, which she's not a victim of anything except for her own mental whatever. There's a big difference between inciting violence and just saying what's true, like, that's the joke of it all. I personally didn't go to DC, didn't but I know people that did, and I know what happened. There was a speech going on from our president, Donald Trump, and there was things happening at the Capitol. He couldn't have cited the violence while things were going on and given a speech at the same time. There's a big difference. There's a spatial difference. There's a mile and a half from when, over a mile and a half from where the speech was happening to where the Capitol is. And yet, everybody out there, all the news organizations, want to say that he incited violence. The people that were there listening to him weren't the same people at the Capitol trying to get in. Not to mention all the videos of the police letting people into the building and all that. Yeah, they shouldn't have went in and destroyed anything. No, there shouldn't have been any kind of tearing up of anything. But that's the lack of common sense that should be available to everyone. Unfortunately, common sense is not common. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, but it's just crazy to me how they can say that that's exciting violence to peacefully, patriotically have their voices heard compared to the I don't understand why there's not more of it. Why people aren't rising up, Nancy Pelosi or Maxine Waters telling people to confront those people of Trump supporters and other people in restaurants. That's violence. Like, why confront them? They're allowed to have their opinions just like everybody else is allowed to have their opinions. At least that's how it should be, right? I'm not sure. I mean, I am sure, but like the views of how most people see things, unfortunately, from the media especially, is just twisted and corrupted. And that's not anything that I can do about it because I'm just some random dude talking into my phone. There's a lot of people out there that could do something. There's a lot of people that could have done something, especially past the fact that we're, that Biden is our president and he is fair and legitimately won the election, which is not true. I mean, please, come on. Biden didn't win the election fairly. Trump won. The vote tallies, the fraud that's not widespread, which was technically widespread since it went from more than one state, which technically should be contributed to, a RICO Act because there was more than multiple people involved in it from state to state. But you'll never get that past the government. Like, vote them out. That's the only thing that we can do, apparently, which I'm not even sure that would work because a politician is a politician is a politician. And, unfortunately, right, left, Democrat, Republican, it's all politics. And there's nothing that we can do about it except for voting people who say they want to change it, but unfortunately it's still politics. And that's the one reason why I did vote for Trump. Like, he wasn't a politician. He said shit. He did shit. He said something. He did it. Now, yeah, he said a lot of stuff he shouldn't have said. And yeah, he's a cartoon character, like from reality TV or whatever. But like, he actually cared about Americans. He did do good things for America. And now, within, the first 9 days in office, this potato changed everything. He knocked a bunch of it out. If anybody thinks that politicians in general, Republican or Democrat, are going to do good things for the country, they're wrong. It doesn't matter if we have a 2-party system, a 5-party system. They're politicians. They're getting paid by corporations. They're getting paid by interest groups, foreign countries. Like, why in the stimulus bill do we need to give any other money out to any other country other than America. Question marks? Anybody? It didn't make any sense. You're supposed to be helping out Americans, and yet they want to give money to a bunch of foreign nations for a bunch of foreign policies, which are unnecessary. Americans needed help because Americans were in trouble because the politicians put us in that situation. It wasn't foreign dignitaries, it wasn't foreign countries, it was American politicians, governors and mayors especially, that said, oh, you can't go out and you can't do this, you can't do that. I don't wear masks. I don't care that it's mandated in my state of Kentucky. They say it's required, it's mandatory, whatever. No. I'm a USA, United States American citizen. I have the right to go outside, and anybody in any state that thinks they don't have the God-given right to go outside their homes and do what they want to do is got some kind of mental brain cap. There's something missing up there. You're a human. You're allowed to walk outside your house. You have the need to go to the store to get food for your family, for yourself. That's your right. Nobody can tell you that that's not. If you think that that's a thing that people are allowed to tell you, then there's something wrong with the way that you think. There's so much wrong in this country, and it goes in with a lot of politics, and it's both sides. I don't care. I'm not a Republican. I'm definitely not a socialist, Democrat. But if I had to choose, I guess I'd go closer towards Republican, at least Trump. And that's only because he wasn't a politician. And he's even said in the past that it seems like the country does better as the Democrats are in office, which is not true. Like, that's why I was never in politics my whole life. I never cared to vote because I felt like my choice didn't matter. And I was proved right this year because I voted for Trump. All the fraud that happened, no matter what anybody wants to say, happened. It's fact. There are so many cases, so much proof. Yeah, there was a lot of people blowing up saying this and that, which is, more to the point, it's politics. And who cares, right? This is this. This is this. Come with the receipts, come with the facts, and yeah, that should be taken into account. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And now, I don't know what to say. I am just a guy that lives in a place, a camper now, thankfully, to some of my friends that used to live in the woods. I used to be a person that had a home and everything else. Unfortunately, that's not the case right now. Hopefully one day I'll get back there. Hopefully for my kids especially, because I miss my kids, and that's a different topic. It's a different sadness that I have to deal with. But I just don't understand. I'm afraid for my kids because the world that they're being exposed to right now, the thoughts that they're being exposed to, the world as it is heading towards them, and not even just them, people, kids of the past, people that think that Antifa is a thing to be, when you can't be an anti-fascist and yet act in a fascist way. That's a thing. Common sense. Where is it? It's it's hard to explain stuff to people also, because some people, they can't talk, they can't explain, they can't hear facts from one point of view without yelling about their facts, which, that's not a way to communicate. That's not a way to discuss things. You can't just say one thing and then that's your case without being able to hear somebody else's. I don't know. You know what I mean? If you're a person out there with common decency, with common knowledge, with an ability to accept information and give information, then you might understand. But unfortunately, there's so many people out there these days that can only take in one side of something and be that way, and take in one side of something and be that way, and not be able to meet in the middle, which is, really what we're all supposed to be about. Like, I don't know. That's just my rant for right now. It's probably pointless. I'm not sure who will hear it. But it's some opinions that I needed to get off my chest. And, well, my puppy, he wanted me to say it. Not really. He doesn't care. As long as he gets fed, walked, and, just go out and play, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. But, some random thoughts from a random guy. Thank you.